America is no stranger to protest. From the Boston Tea Party to the March on Washington, citizens have always raised their voices. On April 6, 2025, that spirit of dissent roared back to life. Across the nation, a wave of hands-off protests erupted, uniting Americans from all walks of life. This wasn't just a few disgruntled folks. This was a nationwide outcry against the policies of President Trump's second term. These protests, organized primarily by Democratic activists, represented a boiling point. For months, tensions had been simmering. Trump's policies on immigration, government spending, and social safety nets had sparked fear and anger. The hands-off protests were a resounding declaration: enough is enough. The sheer scale of the protests was staggering. From the National Mall in Washington, D.C. to the streets of New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago, hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets. The message was clear. This administration had crossed a line. The people demanded to be heard. At the heart of the hands-off protests were a series of controversial policies enacted by the Trump administration. One of the most contentious issues was immigration. Trump, known for his hardline stance on immigration during his first term, had doubled down in his second term. Increased border patrols, deportations, and raids had sown fear and chaos in immigrant communities. Another flashpoint was the issue of government spending. Elon Musk, the tech mogul, had been appointed by Trump to head the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Musk, a controversial figure in his own right, had embarked on a series of sweeping cuts to government programs. These cuts, while touted as efficiency measures, had resulted in mass layoffs and the dismantling of crucial services. Adding fuel to the fire were concerns about the future of Social Security. Trump had made vague statements about the need to reform Social Security, leading to widespread anxiety among retirees and older Americans. The fear was that Trump, under pressure from fiscal hawks within his own party, would seek to cut or privatize Social Security, a program that millions of Americans rely on. The cumulative effect of these policies was a sense of deep unease and anger. Many Americans felt that the Trump administration was eroding the very fabric of American society. The hands-off protests were a visceral reaction to this perceived assault on their values and way of life. Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration, particularly his leadership of DOGE, added a volatile element to the already combustible political climate. Musk, known for his brash style and disdain for government bureaucracy, had approached his role with characteristic zeal. His aggressive cost-cutting measures, while applauded by some, had alienated many others. Musk's response to the protests was characteristically confrontational. In a series of posts on X, the social media platform he had acquired, Musk dismissed the protesters as entitled and out of touch. He accused them of being manipulated by special interests and threatened to use his resources to expose those who were funding the protests. The White House, for its part, issued a more measured response. Press Secretary Liz Houston acknowledged the right to peaceful protest but defended the administration's policies. She argued that the immigration crackdown was necessary to protect national security and that the government efficiency measures were essential to reducing the deficit. However, Houston's attempts to placate the public were undermined by Trump himself. In a series of early morning tweets, Trump lashed out at the protesters, calling them losers and haters. He accused the media of inflating the size and significance of the protests and claimed that the silent majority of Americans supported his agenda. The hands-off protests were not an isolated event. They were the latest manifestation of a long and storied tradition of protest in America. Throughout its history, America has been shaped by the voices of dissent. From the fight for independence to the civil rights movement, ordinary citizens have always played a pivotal role in holding power to account. The hands-off protests were reminiscent of the Women's March in 2017, which saw millions of women and their allies take to the streets to protest Trump's inauguration. They were also evocative of the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020, which erupted after the murder of George Floyd and sparked a national reckoning on race. These protests, while diverse in their specific aims, shared a common thread, a belief in the power of collective action to effect change. They were a testament to the enduring spirit of democracy in America, a reminder that even in the face of daunting challenges, the people have the power to make their voices heard. The hands-off protests may have marked a turning point in the fight against Trump's agenda. They demonstrated the depth of opposition to his policies and the growing willingness of Americans to stand up and fight back. Only time will tell what lasting impact these protests will have, but one thing is certain: the spirit of resistance is alive and well in America.